Hey gang, welcome to episode 6 of the Ash Christine Designs a Podcast. My name is Ash and I am the host of this podcast. This is a podcast primarily about knitting and knitwear design, but there have been some crochet things as well. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking out the podcast, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. You can find me on Instagram as Ash Christine Designs and on Ravelry as Ash Christine. You can also find any of my knitwear and crochet patterns on Ravelry, Etsy, and lovecrafts.com. I'll have links to all three of those places as well as my social medias in the description box below. Today is Thursday, December 17th. It's my usual recording day. If you're a returning viewer, you might know that I post my podcasts on Fridays, but this week I think it's probably going to be Saturday, if not Sunday. I have a couple things to do today and tomorrow, and I'm going to have to break up the editing between those 2 days, so I likely won't have it edited all the way tonight and ready to go on Friday. So, you'll get a podcast this weekend. If you're a returning viewer, you might notice a glare on my glasses lens. I do have a big studio light behind me. I purchased some studio lights for business purposes, but I figured I could also use them here for the podcast, so hopefully everything's nice and bright. I remember a couple weeks ago I had to turn on a lamp because it was getting stormy out, and today it's just as stormy. Anyway, enough opening chatter. Let's get into the episode. So first up, I want to talk pattern news, and I don't have either of these patterns with me right now, so I'm just going to post pictures up there to show you what I'm talking about. First pattern I want to talk about coming out on Friday, so by the time you're watching this video, this pattern will be live, is the My Darling, My Dear pattern, which if you look right there, it's these adorable little deer beanies. It's sized from newborn to adult, and there'll be a lot of information on needles and gauge and yarn on the pattern page, which I will have linked below because it will be live by the time that this podcast goes up. There will also be a coupon code for you to get 20% off the purchase during the opening week, which I will put right here on the screen, and I will also have it listed in the description box below. I just don't have the code yet because I haven't set it up. The second pattern also coming out on Friday, so it'll be live by the time that you see this, is my Deck the Halls beanie, which again, you can look right here to see what that looks like. It's this cute little colorwork hat. I love it so much. My testers love it. I've seen several of my testers knit it in 2 colors instead of multiple colors, which I think is so cute, and it gives it like a very vintage vibe. But obviously you can do however many colors you want, however few colors you want, and it'll look great. It's just one of those motifs that looks great with everything. But yes, that pattern is live as well, and there will also be a coupon code for 20% off, which I again will put on the screen here, and also it'll be in the description box below, next to the link to the Ravelry pattern page. There will also be links to Etsy and Lovecrafts for both of these new patterns that I'm talking about, so if you just look in the description box, you should be able to find wherever it is you normally purchase your patterns. The last bit of pattern news I have to talk about is that the final clue in the Mystery Christmas Sock 2020 pattern will be out this Sunday. I'm so excited to wrap that up and see everybody's finished socks. I'm super excited for it. Even though this podcast is going to go live on Saturday or Sunday, I will go ahead and set up the finished object thread, because as soon as that clue hits on Sunday, most everybody will be able to finish their socks. So I will go ahead and have the finished object thread linked in the description box below. It is a Ravelry only finished object thread. I do not have a finished object thread anywhere else, but if you participate on Instagram, make sure to use the hashtags mentioned in the pattern, and I may pull a prize or 2 from there. Speaking of which, we should go ahead and talk about prizes. The first 2 I don't have on me at the moment. I completely forgot to grab them, but it is a set of progress keepers from my store. Here's what they look like. You'll get a set of holiday lights, progress keepers, or stitch markers, depending on your preference. And the second prize is another set of progress keepers or stitch markers, again, depending on your preference. From my stitch marker store, it is a set of candy cane progress keepers or stitch markers. That's what they look like right there. I love those. I sell those year round. I have people that, are asking about them in July. Those 2 will be prizes, and I have one more physical prize to show you, so let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll talk about digital prizes. Apologies for the crinkling that you're going to hear for this one, but I don't want to take it out of the packaging as it is packaged so nicely, and I really don't want to mess it up. This is a bag that I purchased from Etsy. It's from the shop Southern Skeins. I know it's a hand-dyed yarn company, but she had this bag in her shop, and I thought it was perfect for this knit-along. Sorry about the glare, but it does say, my favorite color is Christmas lights. And then it has Southern Skeins at the bottom, the shop's brand. But I just thought, what could be more perfect for this mystery Christmas knit along? There's something that talks about Christmas lights. It's perfect. This was not sent to me. This was not sponsored. This is something that I purchased with my own money because I thought that it was perfect for the knit along. So one of you will be getting that. So the knit along wraps January 10th. That's when the final deadline is. Everybody has to have their socks finished and submitted in the finished object thread by midnight on January 10th. And then January 11th, I will close the thread and draw prizes in the next day or so. And then I'll be contacting everybody via Ravelry and communicating about their address and how to get their physical prizes out to them. There will also be 5 digital prizes, 5 different patterns from my store. It is winner's choice, so once I select those 5 people from the finished object thread, they will each get their choice of which pattern of mine from my store that they would like. So if any of those prizes sound intriguing to you, make sure that you get your socks finished, your mystery Christmas socks finished, and entered into the finished object thread before midnight on January 10th. Again, the last clue is coming out on Sunday, and from there you'll have roughly 20 days or so to finish up your socks and get them submitted into the finished object thread. So have fun with your socks and good luck on those prizes. Okay, so that is pattern news out of the way. Now we can get into finished objects, of which I have 4, but 2 of them are already gone, and I don't have them to physically show you. But I will post some pictures up here in the corner, just like I did for the patterns. The first is if you're a returning viewer, you'll know that I sell. I have an Etsy store where I sell finished objects, so I sell finished beanies and things like that, finished makes. And I had an order come in for one of my Deck the Halls beanies, so there's a picture right there. So I finished that up this week and got it out. I actually cast it on, I think like 2 days after our podcast last. I don't remember. But either way, that's done and gone. And then I also had another order come in for this set of snowmen, which I talked about in my previous podcast. I had an order going out for them. I had another order come in this week. So those are finished now and out the door and on their way to the post office. But those are the 2 finished objects that I have that aren't in my possession anymore. So let's go ahead and talk about the ones that I can talk about and can physically hold and show you, because those are more fun. Okay, I just now realized that I forgot to talk about needles, I forgot to talk about yarn, and everything to do with all of those patterns. Oh goodness. One day, you guys know me by this point. I forget all of those little details. I'll try to be better, but no promises. Moving on, this is a gift for a friend of mine. It is a little Rudolph ornament. Isn't that so cute? And it has a little tie on top to put on the tree. I'm obsessed. I think it's so cute. So this pattern is by Spin a Yarn Crochet. I forget her name, but that's her design name is Spin a Yarn Crochet. It is a crocheted pattern. It is a paid crochet pattern. She does have a free version on her blog, which I will have that linked below, as well as the pattern page. She does have a free version on her blog, but I actually bought the PDF because, it's nice to support other designers. So, quickly before I forget, this red here is Caron Simply Soft in the Autumn Red. I believe it could be a different red. It's probably a random stash red that I forgot about. This white is Caron Simply Soft in the white colorway. I don't remember if it's bright white or if it's just white, but the white colorway, as is the same in the ears. Don't know if those look pink or not, but they're white. This brown is Caron Simply Soft in the chocolate colorway, and then the main color brown is Red Heart Super Saver in the Cafe Latte colorway, which is actually the colorway that she called for in the pattern. And I didn't know that when I purchased the pattern. I didn't read through the materials because who am I? So I actually went digging through my stash and I was like, do I have a stash yarn? Because I knew I wanted it to be easy care, because I'm sending this to somebody that is not, what's the word? It's not that she's not careful. It's just that I don't want her to have to think about oh, I need to, wash this a special way or whatever. I want her to be able to wash it as normal. I will recommend putting it down to a pillowcase so you don't disturb the facial features, but you can still put it in the washing machine. But yeah, so I went through my stash to see if I had a brown acrylic or anything easy care. And I actually had the exact same colorway as she called for in the pattern. Once I had read the pattern and saw that, I was like, okay, well, this is perfect. So I'm dying. I'm surprised you guys aren't dying. It's precious. And the back is just plain brown. Okay, and that is one Christmas gift out the way. I don't know if any of you guys do any Christmas knitting or Christmas making, but I am kind of one of those people that I do one-offs. So one year I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to do a bunch of Christmas gifts. And then the next year or the next, several years, I'm like, I'm not doing Christmas gifts. Or not doing them. I'm not making them. I'll buy something for Christmas gifts. But this year there were a few people on my list that I wanted to make things for, and this was one of the objects that I made for one person on my list. And the next finished object is not a Christmas gift. This is actually a design that'll be coming out in January. This is my Winter Freeze beanie. Don't know how well you'll be able to see that. The light behind me is really blowing it out. It's quite a dark yarn as well. Oh, that's maybe better. Look at it. Okay, there. You can kind of see it like that. So it's these little open work cables next to these twisted stitches. Well, you can see that. If you've been following me for a while, you might recognize this stitch pattern a little bit. This open work cable is from a headband that I released back in autumn. I called it the Autumn Breeze headband. And this is the hat version, or the beanie version. It's Winter Freeze. It's coming out in January. I'm super stoked about this. I just got to get a few testers on it and it'll be good to go. It's also quite a tall beanie, so I can wear it comfortably when I have my hair up, but I know not everybody wears things with their hair up. That's just me. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Again, sorry for the light blowing out. This is my first time using these lights, and I'm sure that I will kind of learn some tips and tricks about how far away to place them and everything, but I'm kind of like all wrapped up in here with my microphone cord. I don't really want to go across the room and try to straighten that out. So apologies that it gets blown out, but it is what it is. I think it's also partially to blame on this yarn because back here, like, I don't know if you can even see the details back there. On the screen, it doesn't look like you can, but maybe I'm wrong. Back here, it looks really, really dark, and then here it's like, allow me to blow out the camera and ruin your life. That's all my finished objects for this week, which I feel like is pretty good, considering that, this last week has been busy, busy, busy. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but the closer that we get to Christmas, the more I'm like, where has the time gone? I've got so much to do before the end of the year. It's crazy. But I did want to talk about a couple of works in progress that I'm currently working on. And if you are a returning viewer, you might suspect a few. Don't. None of the ones that I'm talking about are what I talked about last week, I don't think. Maybe one of them is. Yeah, one of them is, and then the other one's just... I have not worked on my Oxford Street pullover. If you're a new viewer, that is a sweater design of mine that I have coming out. It was originally slated for January and then slated for March, and now I don't know when it's coming out. It'll come out when it comes out. But I've not touched that this week. I've been busy with the orders and trying to get January's pattern wrapped and, organize everything behind the scenes with test knits and get these patterns live. And it's been one of those weeks, but that's okay. I'm hoping to pick up the Oxford Street pullover over Christmas and do a big chunk on it. My original plan was to finish the body and the sleeves by the end of December. I have since switched up my goals. I have since revisited them and thought about them again. I think I could definitely have the body done by the end of December. So that's my new goal, is body by the end of December and the two sleeves by the end of January, which I don't think should be that hard to do. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about my current works in progress. The first one that I'll talk about here, and I realized last week I never remembered to show the bags that mine are in, which this is just a bag from, I think, Target. That's where I got it. It's like one of those makeup bags. I just liked the print. I thought it was cute. And if anyone's curious, the pin on there is Harry Potter Veritaserum from the fourth book. Get that to show. There we go. This is a pin by the Red Pansy. I'll have her shop link below. She's a couple of other pins, but that one was my favorite. Okay, so last week I spoke about my Sockmas socks for Natalie of Nitty Natty's Sockmas 2020 knit along, which, by the way, that ends tomorrow, the 18th, and I will definitely not have my socks finished. It's okay. It is what it is. I realized that around the 10th or so, when I was busy working on orders and getting everything done with the pattern, I realized that I wasn't going to finish it on time, and that's okay. I just sort of like regrouped and was like, it's fine. I again was participating more for, or I was knitting these socks more for the participation than I was for actually like entering for prizes. Even though, you know, prizes are fun to enter for and everything, but I more or less just wanted the community of sock knitting. So here is my first finished sock. It looks super cute on camera. There's like a fuzz. My apologies, I forgot to grab, I don't have a sock blocker, but I do have like a little foam insert piece that I've cut into the shape of a sock. Because we all know sock blockers they're not used for blocking your socks. They're purely for aesthetics and photography. So I do plan on getting some sock blockers. I haven't grabbed them. Every time that I'm like, I should get sock blockers, I'm like, or you could spend that money on a new skein yarn. I have a problem. Okay, so here is sock number 1. It's looking really, really good. So the main color is a one-of-a-kind from a yarn dyer called From the Milk Parlor. And again, I spoke about this last time that I talked about this. I don't know that she's dyeing yarn anymore. Katie, who was the dyer behind it, I went to link her shop a couple weeks ago to something else, and it didn't link. It said it no longer existed. So I'm not sure if she's just taking a break and going to rebrand or something, or if she's done for now. It'd be kind of sad because I really, really liked her colorways. I used one of her yarns for a pattern of mine, my Trains in the Night pattern, which I'll put right there. It's my Trains in the Night mitts, which I really, really liked. And I really like her bases. They're very squishy, but they're not, you know, when you can get a sock weight that comes a little, it's not bulky, but you have to go up a needle size. Hers had like incredible squish, but I didn't actually have to go up a needle size, which was great. Anyway, I digress. These are my socks. The color down here, the heel color, is from the Milk Parlor as well. She actually sent me this yarn and this main color yarn to knit a pair of sample socks for her back when she was doing trunk shows a couple years ago. And then I asked her if she wanted the leftovers, and she said no, keep them, do whatever you want. So they've become not shorty socks, pretty long leg socks for me. I think I did a 20 row cuff. I did a cuff like the ribbing, and then I did a 20 row leg. Is it leg? Yeah, it's leg. Got confused for a second. I was like, is that foot? No. I clearly haven't had enough coffee this morning. Anyway, I did a 20 row leg, and I think I did like a 16 row cuff or something. I don't know. I'm experimenting with my leg lengths. I don't know what I like yet. I've been doing shorty socks pretty much since I learned to knit socks, so I'm experimenting with longer legs and kind of seeing what fits and what I like, because if it's too annoying, I won't wear it, but anyway. And then the last thing is this pink down here is from Bad Wolf Girls Studios. It is in the Pepper Imps colorway. It's just a nice bright pink. And I actually wanted to use this green for the toe, but I wasn't sure I'd have enough green for both heels and both toes. I talked about that last week. So I decided, executive decision, I would just do the green for the heels and figure out what comes with the toe. And I actually have been experimenting with my heel lengths. This is fascinating to no one but me. I've been experimenting with my heel lengths. So I always knit my heels, what are they called? A heel flap and gusset. I always knit stockinette heel flap and gussets because slip stitch heel flaps kind of narrow in. They cinch my heel too much and it's not enough room. So I do stockinette, and I've been experimenting with how many rows I'm doing in the heel flap part, and it's the weirdest thing. because I did my, okay, so it's not weird, it's totally understandable, but because I did my heel flap longer in this pair of socks, my gusset decreases were longer. So when I got to the foot, I was waiting at the dentist and I was like, okay, well, I'm past the gusset decreases, so now I know that I need to knit 60 rounds for my foot and then pop the toe in. So I knit almost to the 60 rounds, I believe. I was like 55, 56. And then I came home and I was like, okay, let me pop the heel in real quick. And, not heel, let me pop the toe in real quick and this first sock will be done. And the more that I was about to finishing that final round in this main color, I was like, this looks really long. So I tried it on and didn't think to account for the fact that my gusset decreases went on longer. So my foot needed to be shorter. Who would have thunk? So I actually ended up having to rip out 2 inches of what I knit while I was waiting at the dentist in order to make the footwork for me. And I ended up doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 43 rows for my foot length. I have markers on the back side that mark every 10 rows. That's a trick I learned from Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. I'd never heard of it until I'd started watching her podcast, gosh, years ago, probably when she first started. Anyway, weird, right? Who would have thunk it? If you knit a longer gusset, you'll need a shorter foot. Things that I need to remember. Don't know why it slipped my mind. I do have the second sock cast on right here, which I will show you the yarn in the cake here. Again, that main color, this is the main color by Katie from the Milk Parlor, but again, I don't know if she's dyeing anymore. I just have the cuff done of this, not even the full cuff. I think I still have 4 or 5 rows left of the ribbing on the cuff. That's my stitch marker, by the way. That's my, what do you call him? My Holiday Lights Progress Keepers, which is one of the prizes for the Mystery Knit Along. But yeah, since I'm just here at my socks, I'm not going to have them done by tomorrow. And that's okay. I will just work on them probably over Christmas and, the holiday break and just enjoy them rather than trying to rush and get them done for the knit along. It's fine. I've completed many other knit alongs and I've completed many pairs of socks in a week or 2 weeks. I think this knit along was actually 3 weeks though. But I've completed many pairs of socks in a short amount of time, so I'm not that pressed that I didn't get this done. It would have been nice, but I do already have my Christmas socks for this year, which is why I didn't go with Christmas colors. But I guess if you squint, these are kind of like Christmas colors. Call them snow, frost. Anyway, that's that. Second work in progress is actually another hat, which let me grab and show you. As I mentioned in the episode, I have the store where the Etsy shop where I sell my finished makes, and I'm working on a new line of hats for it that should launch about mid-January at this point. And they are these cute little chevron hats. I have one more final chevron. It's going to be another black chevron, and then this one will be complete. This is a extra long brim, so it'll fold up. Let me show you what that looks like. That's what it looks like folded up. So it's going to be super, super cute once I put the final thing on there. And then I've got a few rows to knit in the main color and then decreases. So for some reason, this is giving me ski hat vibes, which is probably what I'll call it. But this is actually, I'm following the motif from my contrast chevron cowl, which was the first pattern that I ever released on Ravelry and Etsy and all those places. I am following that motif, but slightly changed to make it work for a beanie instead of a cowl. So I may write this up as its own pattern. I always planned to knit a version of my chevron cowl as a beanie and write it up as a pattern. Anyway, I may write up that pattern sooner if you guys are interested, but it may also just be released next year or the year after sometime. I don't know. I have many plans for next year, so we'll see what I actually have time for. But I did want to talk about the yarn before I forgot, because you know me and forgetting about everything. I'm using Joann's Big Twist Value. This is in the red colorway. It's a deep red colorway. And then the other two are the same. Big Twist Value white and black. I like using this yarn. Actually, no, this is the first time that I'm using this yarn for shop items. So yeah, been trying that yarn out for some new shop items, and so far I'm really, really liking the way that it is working up. I have worked with Big Twist Value before and a couple of other in the Big Twist line. But as far as like for actual shop items and wearables, this is the first that I'm working with them for wearables, and so far I'm really, really liking it. It's not as soft as something like Yarn Bee Soft Secret or even Care on Simply Soft. Well, it's probably about as soft as Care on Simply Soft. It's just not as, it doesn't have the same shine that Care on Simply Soft does, which is fine. I wanted to experiment with some matte yarns as well, so really, really glad to see that working up, and excited to see what the rest of the colors are going to look like all together. I still got to sit down and pick out color options for the other main skeins that I have, because I purchased neutrals like black, white, and gray, and I think I also purchased the tan to mix in with some of the solid colors that I got, like the red, and I got a couple of solid colors of like blue and green and things like that. So I'm excited to experiment with those neutrals. If you know me at all, color play is one of my favorite parts of my job, so excited to sit down and plan out those and get them all worked up and ready to launch sometime in January. That's it for works in progress this week. I could have brought a couple of other things in here and talked about them, but other than those two items that I just spoke about, or projects that I just spoke about, nothing's really had a huge amount of progress on it. Like, I've put a few rows here and there on my Madison Square Beanie Light, which is a pattern that's coming out sometime next year, probably in the summertime. I put a few rows on that. I put like one row on my Oxford Street pullover. I put like maybe half a row on some other things, but nothing has been like a huge amount of progress except for these socks and that beanie that I'm working on. So, oh well. Next week, hopefully I'll have more finished objects to share, or not next week, next update, next podcast, which I'm not sure that I'm doing another one at the end of the year. I think it'll probably be sometime in January before I can sit down and film another podcast, which is fine because that leaves me plenty of time to be making in the meantime, and hopefully I'll come back with a huge stack of finished objects and some impressive progress on some works in progress. But anyways, though, before we slide on into chatter, I just want to talk about some stash acquisitions and some kind of like gifts that I've gotten, and I am super excited to show some of these to you guys. So up first is a purchase that I made. It is a skein of Madeline Tosh. It is in the Twist Light base, and it's in the Dopamine colorway, because, don't know about you, but I could use some dopamine. Sorry, bump the camera. I love the speckling in there. Sorry, I'm getting a shadow for some reason right there. I love the speckling in this yarn. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I have never actually worked with Madeline Tosh. This is my first skein of Madeline Tosh. It's always been one of those brands that I've been like, yeah, I want to try them. And I haven't. So now I'm really excited. I purchased this on Eat Sleep Knit, which I'll leave a link to in the description box below. I purchased this on Eat Sleep Knit as part of their Black Friday sale. They have, every Black Friday they do, everyone gets 10% off their orders, and you can be randomly selected to get more off your order. So once you hit submit order, it tells you, oh, hey, you won X amount off your order in the random drawing. And it goes from 10% all the way up to 100% off. So you have the potential to order and not pay a cent, which is amazing. But yeah, I did receive the 10% off. Nothing higher, wah, but it's cool because I actually really wanted this skein. So I knew I was going to purchase it anyway, so. But yeah, this is in the Dopamine colorway, and it is 420 yards, 384 meters, and I don't see a grams, like a weight thing. I don't know. But it does say that it is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. This is going to be for a design for next year. I'm thinking socks, but I'm so in love with this colorway that I kind of want to order a sweaters quantity and make it a sweater pattern for next year. I don't know. It's definitely going to be socks. I already know the pattern for the socks. I've actually got it not completely charted out, but ish. So I know it's definitely going to be socks at the very least. I just love these speckles. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking about it. But I am really excited to get to work on this pattern and kind of like see it come to fruition. And also, I may not be able to resist ordering a sweaters quantity. I don't know. We'll see. The next couple of things I have to talk about are actually gifts from a really good friend of mine. Earlier this year, we spoke about doing an Advent swap together, and then the more that we were talking, the more we decided that we didn't want it to just be Mini-Skeins, and that because, you know, we've known each other for so long, we know each other really, really well, that we wanted to make it like little gifts. And they could be anything from a skein of yarn to, you know, a bag of coffee. It didn't really matter to us what the other person got. We gave each other some ideas of like, this is what I'm interested in, and, you know, in case you don't remember, this is what we spoke about or whatever. But she sent me so much. I can't even. I'm not going to show everything that she sent me, particularly because some of it is quite unique to our friendship, and my battery light's flashing. Anyways, I'm not going to show everything that she sent me, as it is, some of it's quite unique to our friendship and quite, you know, personal to the two of us, but I did want to share a couple of things, and then as in when I use the other items that she sent me, I will obviously talk about them and mention that they were an Advent gift. I have no problem with that at all, but I am already at 43 minutes recording, so I don't really want to sit here and show every single thing that she sent me, because it's been 17 days now, and yeah. The first thing that I do want to talk about is she sent me some stitch markers or other progress keepers from Bump on a Hill, which they come in this cute little metal tin, which I will open up and show you her, if I can unscrew it, I will open up and show you her tag, which should be easier to see than the tin. So it's Bump on a Hill. It is yarn jewelry from Maine. You can see that. And one of the items, which I haven't used yet, I'm dying over how cute it is. You're probably going to be dying too. It is a little Starbucks cup. So this is like the hot cup. And the one I've been using is my iced cup. I'm dying. So it's a little iced cup. I think it's like a Frappuccino, which I actually don't drink Frappuccinos, but I do drink iced coffee. It's got the little Starbucks logo. I'm obsessed with these. I honestly am. I've been using the iced one, or the Frappuccino one, as my progress keeper on my socks. Once I get into the stockinette, I will attach this there. I don't put it when it's in the ribbing, because it's just personal preference. But yeah, I'm obsessed with these two. I'll show you them together. I'm obsessed with these two. I can't get over them. And I am quite obsessed with iced coffee. If you follow my Instagram, you might know in my Instagram stories, it's practically every day you'll see me posting my my iced coffee of the day. Anyway, but yeah, super, super in love with these progress keepers, and she knows me so well. She really does. I'll also have this shop link below, the Bump on a Hill, in case any of you want to go get your own, or you want to browse whatever else is in her store. She's got some really cute stuff. So I will leave her link in the description below as well. Moving on, I want to talk about some of the other things that she sent me, and I'm so grateful for everything that she sent me, and I'm so excited to, you know, start using some of this up, and I'm just really excited. So one of the first things that I want to show you is some Mini-Skeins that she sent me, and I'm trying to hold them all. These are 5 Mini-Skeins that she sent me. These are like 2 neutrals, and then these are actually 3 separate pinks. I don't know how well it's showing on camera. But we have the lightest, and then the medium, and then the dark. And I'm actually thinking that these 5 would make a really good design for socks. I've had one in my head for a while, and I kind of always knew I wanted to go with pink, and it's really weird that she sent me these like in this order, because that's what I kind of pictured in my head. I can't remember if I spoke to her about this or not, because if I didn't, that's a really strange coincidence. But yeah, I think that these 2 neutrals up here would actually be pretty good for like a portion of the design. I don't want to reveal it because it's not just the cuffs and the heels. But I'll either use these neutrals up here as the design, as a part of the design, or I'll purchase a solid or a semi-solid somewhere and mix them in here. But they look really, really good on camera. But yeah, super, super excited about these. I'm probably sit down and wind them all up. I haven't weighed them yet, but I'm assuming they're like 20 grams. I have not sat down yet and like figured out the exact details of the sock pattern, because it was something I was planning on purchasing yarn for in the next year. But now that I have these, And I'm pretty sure I'm one of those people that when someone sends me a gift, if I'm not allowed to open it right away, I'll feel it because it's what I do. Some people get so irritated with me because I'm like, I'm going to shake this, I'm going to feel this. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that I felt another mini skein in there, so we'll see what I end up adding to this, if I end up pulling from my own stash of mini skeins or if I end up purchasing more to make this design work. I don't know. By the way, this yarn, she told me it's Fido Yarns. I don't have her label in here, but it is Fido Yarns. These did not come with individual labels, but she did send me a full skein of Fido Yarns. I might be Fido fiber, but I will have this shop linked as well, the Fido yarn, so you can go and see. I don't know if she's selling mini skeins or not. I've not had a chance to look at her shop, but I don't know if she sells these individually or if my friend got these at a yarn show or something. But either way, super, super excited about these. I'm just going to show 2 more things that she sent me because they are super exciting for me. So this is Indie Steps, Good For You, colors inspired by home. This is colorway. It's so pretty. This is a local Indiana dyer, which is where my friend is located. And it's so, I love those colors. So the colorway name is Spring on the Monon. And I might be mispronouncing that. But it is 40% superwash merino, 40% baby llama, and 20% nylon. So I'm super, super excited to work with this. Fun fact about me is I actually was born in Indiana. So getting a skein like this is super, super special to me because I moved down south when I was young, and I really do miss the north. So getting things like this is super, super exciting for me because I don't remember much of up north, but I do remember really liking it, and I do miss it a lot. But yeah, I'm super excited to work with this and figure out what it's going to be. There's a decent amount of yardage here, 414 yards. It's a fingering weight, so it's a decent amount in there. I won't do for socks because it has got llama in it, and I'm one of those people that I'm like, if it's got anything other than superwash merino, I get scared. I don't want to ruin my socks. And the last one that I want to talk about is one I'm so, so excited about. This is Rockin' String Creations, artisan dyed yarns and fiber. Oh my gosh. You guys, I can't. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so a couple things to talk about. First of all, pink and black. Me, my colors. Second, that speckling. I'm obsessed. Look at it on this side. I'm very excited. So I had actually never heard of this brand either, Rockin' String Creations. I don't know where they're located. It doesn't say. But this might be another local one. I don't remember if she told me or not. She's told me so many things about these. But this is on the Jitterbug fingering base, which on Ravelry it's actually Jitterbug sock, in case any of you were curious. It is 400 yards in 100 grams. It is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And this is in the colorway Cardinals in the Snow. Now, if you know me personally at all, cardinals are a huge deal for me. They mean a lot to me. I don't really feel the need to go into it too much, but there is a band that I love, that I super, super love, that uses cardinals as part of their imagery in some of their music and some of their lyrics and things. And it's just, to find this colorway, Cardinals in the Snow, it's just, I can't even explain how perfect it is for me. It's just amazing. And I'm so, so, so happy that she sent this to me. I can't. I'm dying. Here is the information, by the way. Cardinals in the Snow, Jitterbug fingering. Sorry, I'm trying to make it so it doesn't get blown out by the light behind me. But yeah, super, super excited about this one. I have so many ideas of what this is going to be. My first instinct is socks, but I'm thinking a hat. What would you make out of this? Because I think, remember when everyone was doing those yarn crowns? Anyway, if you can't tell, I'm very easily distracted. What would you make out of this colorway? I'm very curious because I have so many ideas in my head, and then I'm like, slow down, slow your roll, think about it. But that is the last of my stash acquisitions / gifts. I will have a couple of other things to talk about next time that I podcast, particularly because I still have Advents to open, which I'm super, super excited about. And then I also might be making an order in January for some design yarn, which I'm super, super excited about. I still need to sit down and write out my 2021 design calendar and make sure that everything is cross-checked and everything's going okay. Super, super excited. But yeah, to wrap up, just remember to use the coupon codes for both the My Darling, My Dear pattern and the Deck the Halls beanie pattern. Both will be linked in the description box below. All shops that I talked about, all works in progress that I've spoken about, it'll all be linked in the description box below. If I forgot any information or something wasn't clear, please leave me a comment and I will respond and answer any questions that you have. Sometimes I feel like I sit down to record and forget everything that I've ever said in my entire life. But anyway, that wraps up this week's podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a new viewer, consider hitting the subscribe. If you liked this podcast and you want to see more from me, consider subscribing and all that jazz. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you got some knitting done during it. Maybe you drank some hot chocolate or some coffee, or maybe some nice tea, and just got some work done on your projects and just had fun. That's what I always want my podcast to be. It's just a place to like entertain you while you're doing something else, because that's what I watch podcasts for. Is I'm like, I'm going to put this on and then also do this other thing. So I hope that you got something done while you were watching this and that you enjoyed yourself. And I won't see you again before the end of the year. So have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate, or whatever holiday that you celebrate. I hope it's a good one. I hope you have fun. I hope that you feel the magic of the season and all that jazz. And I also hope that you have a great New Year's Eve. However you choose to celebrate this year, I hope that you have fun, and I hope that you ring in the new year, because it's time. I always get so excited by the end of the year and the start of the next year. I'm somebody that I love to sit down and make plans and track goals and things like that. So getting to set everything up for a brand new year, it feels like a great breath of fresh air and just a brand new start. So I'm super, super excited to sit down and do all of that. And I hope that you guys are looking forward to the new year as well. And again, I won't see you before the end of the year. So happy holidays, enjoy yourself, and I will see you guys in January. Thanks for watching. Bye.